I worked at an M&S store in the UK at the time the story is set. It's basically a fancy supermarket and more expensive than many other places. I'd been there for about 2 years, and on this day my shift was going like it always did. I was operating the till at the time, and we were in a slow period, so I was serving less customers. Now, I don't pay attention to every person I see in the store, and the bathroom area isn't even within my sight at all, so I can't keep an eye on everyone who passes through. Anyway, a woman approached me with a basket, and I got ready to serve her, but I noticed that she had a very concerned look on her face. She appeared nervous, and she sped up the closer she got to me. I switched into customer service mode, but before I could greet her, she asked me if I could help her. I initially thought that she was going to ask me to help find a product for her, which I'm not technically supposed to do. So I would have to explain that she'd have to find one of my colleagues on the shop floor because I couldn't leave the till unattended. I was just about to explain this when she then added, "There's something wrong in the ladies' room." I wasn't expecting that, but again, I still couldn't leave the till unattended. I asked her if someone had an accident, but she just shook her head and then said, "No, but there's something creepy written in there." I wasn't expecting to hear that, but I told her not to worry and we would sort it out. I buzzed one of my coworkers, and the woman took them to the bathroom to see what was up. They were gone for like half an hour before my coworker came back, and I could tell by her facial expression she had something wild to tell me. I was expecting her to tell me that someone had shit on the floor and written a message in their own filth or something, but what she told me was even wilder, at least in my opinion. Again, the shop was still quiet, so my coworker came over and pulled out her phone, telling me to look at this. She showed me a photo of the ladies' bathroom, and someone had written, "Place your sacrifice here," on the baby changing area. They did this in a light red marker, and they drew an upside-down pinnacle underneath the words in a darker shade of red. It wasn't blood. My coworker just said it was a marker, and moaned it was a nightmare to get off the white surface. She still had the toilets closed off because she was still trying to get it off completely, and was taking a quick break to show me. She said that she had already told our manager, who was scouring through CCTV to see if he could spot anything suspicious. He couldn't really see anything though, and we obviously don't have cameras in the bathrooms, and we don't know when the graffiti was drawn, because it's really possible no one bothered to report it until the woman spoke to me. I understand why it made her uncomfortable, because although it was obviously just a troll, it made me feel uncomfortable too. The weird thing is though, our manager said everyone who went into the bathroom seemed normal. I know it's stereotypical, but all the women who went into the toilets that day just didn't seem like that type to do something like that. They were all well dressed, behaving normally, etc. The toilets were also cleaned regularly, and all this occurred in the afternoon. So it's quite ballsy to graffiti when you could be caught so easily. I wonder if they knew the store was quiet and then snuck in and did what they did, then slipped back out. The whole situation was just so strange. It was eventually cleaned up, and when the lady who reported it came to pay for her shopping, she came to my till and I thanked her for letting us know. She said that it freaked her out because she was pregnant herself, and so seeing something like that just upset her. I told her that was understandable, and it made me uncomfortable too, and that we'd try to find whoever did it. Really though, I knew that there wasn't much we could do other than clean it, but I said what I said to make her feel better. So yeah, we don't know who left the graffiti, but it was definitely one of the weirdest things I ever experienced working there. This happened just last year in my small town, and it was honestly the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. The date was October 31st, 2022. Yeah, Halloween. The large grocery store I work for had recently lifted the ban on masks in their store if you were vaccinated, and we were also allowed to dress in costumes for our shift if we followed some simple rules and guidelines set by the company. I was dressed as a student of Hogwarts from the Harry Potter fandom. Not any of the main, since I have short blonde hair with red streaks and sparkling green eyes. So when people asked me what I was dressed as, I just simply replied, I'm a Gryffindor 6th year studying for my nude exams and doing this muggle job to earn some extra money. The little kids that came in ate that right up. They loved it even more when I tapped their treat bags with my wand that I carried and made candy appear inside. Thank God the parents played along and distracted them long enough to allow me to perform the magic. But I never knew that cosmic force wanted to trick me on this night of nights, or at least that's how I saw it later. So my assistant manager, who we'll call Claire, had asked me to watch the 4 self-service lanes while she and the woman I was replacing, Stacy, could set up the treat table at the entrance of the store. We had this thing on Halloween from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. that any child that came in with their parents dressed in a costume would get a bag of candies, as well as some coloring pages to take home. I agreed and I took up my position. About 4 minutes later, a man came with a basket full of stuff and began to ring it up. He seemed to struggle with some of the produce, so I walked over and said calmly and sweetly, "Excuse me, sir, do you need any help?" I should have never approached. He then rounded on me and growled, "No, just get the fuck away from me and do your damn job, bitch." I took a step back and I was shocked. What the heck was his deal? I just said okay, and I went to clean off the other 3, which at the time were not being used. I finished and I saw him struggling. He'd rung up the same exact item 3 times, twice more than what he had. Hoping to be of help, I cautiously walked up, but before I could even say anything, he just turned and yelled, "Stop fucking winging me! You're acting like I'm going to steal something!" Again, I leaped out of the way like he might hit me. I then saw Claire walking towards me, and I quickly waved at her and then whispered, "That guy right there? He's having some trouble," and I tried to ask if he wanted assistance, but he swore at me, and he said I was winging him. I don't know, but he's not making me feel safe here. He's been huffy like this ever since he walked up. Claire nodded and walked up to the man, asking if he needed help. The man raged at her as well, and then started saying that she was winging him as well. Claire then called her boss, our manager Bryce. As soon as the man saw Bryce coming, he got more redder in the face than I even thought was possible, and then he let fly, calling me and Claire things like sluts and whores, and that he wanted us fired immediately. I stood back with Claire, letting Bryce handle this jerk. Now, Bryce looks like he's 28, but he's actually 34, and he's calm but tough. He told the man that there was no reason to get mad like that, and that he could go to the service desk and finish checking out, or he could leave. The man just screamed, "I don't have to be treated like this! This is bullshit! Do you know who I am? I'm so rich I could buy this shit-ass store out and fire all of you!" Bryce, whose expression hadn't even changed from the calm stoic expression, stepped closer to the man and then said, "Buddy, I don't care how rich you are. Get the hell out of my store. You're no longer welcome here. Leave your shit and get the hell out of here now before we call the cops on you." The man tried to argue that it was mine and Claire's faults, but Bryce just repeated what he said, with the man dropping his bags on the floor, then storming out never to be seen again. Claire just looked at me and said, "Are you okay?" I just smiled at her and asked, "Yeah, are you?" To which we both just laughed. Halloween is a time for fun, where you can dress as almost anything or anyone you want. But some people don't need to. They go as Karens and Jerky Jacks every day of the year. I was at Walmart with my mom, and I really wanted to go buy some LOL dolls, but she was in line so she couldn't go with me. I had begged her to let me go by myself, because you ain't so smart when you're 8. She let me go reluctantly. I just want to say in advance that I don't blame her one bit for what happened. She's a good woman with a kind soul, and she trusted me enough to go by myself. She never made the same mistake again. I went to the toy section and I was looking around for those LOL dolls, when this guy, maybe in his mid-20s, asked from a distance if I was looking for the Barbies, and he then told me the aisle that they were in. I was a little suspicious. I grew up hearing things in the news all the time since New Orleans isn't exactly the safest city. So I politely declined, and I went to where my toys were. I was choosing which one that I wanted to get, taking my sweet time, when I then felt something graze my butt. I didn't even think anything of it, because I didn't even know the role of butts back then, and I didn't see anything, so I just assumed it was just my imagination. It then happened again moments later, and I heard footsteps this time. I was starting to freak out internally, but my little dumb self just kept looking. The next time, however, the guy didn't just slap my butt again. He came up to me and then grabbed me a bit, then slowly started lifting my skirt. I was at least wise enough to push him away and then run as fast as I could to my mom. I didn't know what sex was though, so I was only a little shaken. When they started pressuring me for answers on what the guy looked like and stuff is when I really started crying. I should mention that I really hate being yelled at. At this time, the police had already came and were interrogating me, but I couldn't remember a thing. I felt like I was in trouble and just felt like my whole world was spinning. I've always been a good girl, so I wasn't used to getting yelled at all. My dad came to the scene and then started yelling at the suspect they were interviewing. I begged him to stop because I wasn't sure if this was even the right guy, and he also seemed innocent, but matched the description I gave. The guy was taken away, and that was the last I heard of him. I really hope it was the right guy, but like I said, I don't even remember. I know I got away pretty lucky, but it's scary to think what could have happened if I didn't run. I'm glad that I did. Hey everyone, sorry for the interruption from the stories, but I need to thank today's sponsor Uncommon Goods for sponsoring today's episode. If you want to hear where'd you get that this holiday season, Uncommon Goods is your secret weapon. Uncommon Goods is here to make your holiday shopping stress-free by scouring the globe for the most remarkable and truly unique gifts for everyone on your list. Whether you're shopping for your secret Santa or your entire family, Uncommon Goods knows exactly what they want. I personally love coffee, and they have a lot of cool coffee mugs that I really like that I'm definitely going to be getting. Another really cool thing about Uncommon Goods is when you're shopping there, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. These fine products are often made in small batches, so shop now before they sell out this holiday season. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $2.5 million to date. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/cannibal. That's uncommongoods.com/cannibal for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods. We're out of the ordinary. This is my mom's story, but I still feel partially guilty. It was around last year, the prime time of the pandemic. I didn't want to do schoolwork, so I went with my mom to go grocery shopping. But of course, like almost every teenager, I went into one store and got bored. So not wanting to go shopping anymore, I just told my mom that I wanted to stay in the car and that I could watch my sister. Although my mom said yes, my sister didn't want to stay in the car with me and started to throw a fit. Not wanting to have to listen to my sister complain the whole ride home, my mom just said whatever and took her in the store. After like 30 minutes in the car, my mom finally comes out of the store. I was just about to say, "Geez, took long enough," as a joke, but I was then cut off by my mom saying, "You really should have come in." Thinking something funny happened, I asked her why. What she said next froze me to the core, sending a chill down my spine. I think human traffickers were trying to steal Mary being my sister. I asked, my eyes wide, looking at my sister oblivious to this fact. The following is what my mom said happened. They were strolling down the part of Walmart where sports balls and stuff were. There wasn't anyone other than them in the aisles, or so my mom thought. My mom got the feeling as if she was being watched. So my mom, being smart, not to give it away that she was alert, then stops the cart pretending to look at things on the shelf. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw two men around 5'10" with hoodies and baseball caps on. She thought that it was creepy and started to walk away. That's when she then noticed that one of the men was really close to Mary and the other less than 2 inches behind her. My sister was only 6 years old, so my mom thought they were being really creepy towards her. My mom was just about to spin around to slap the dude behind her, but just before she does, she then thinks to herself to not let Mary out of her sight. My mom then picks up the pace and then gets to a part of the store where a few people are. She turns and she noticed that they both stopped right in their tracks and were walking away. My mom sighed in relief and then checked out. I've thought to myself often that if I'd gone in there with my mom and sister, they would have been more safe. I really wish I would have gone, but because of my own selfishness, I could have been the very reason my sister wouldn't be here now. My mom also changed by buying a gun to protect her and us. This might not be that scary to others, but for us, it was an absolute chilling experience, one that we definitely learned from. When I was in my early 20s, I went to Walmart for a grocery haul. I walk in and get me some McDonald's before I go shopping, because we all know you can't go grocery shopping hungry. I smash my 2 McChickens, then go about shopping. I also want to mention that I'm a female. About 15 or so minutes later, I got what was coming to me, some intolerable stomach pains and a bathroom trip just brewing. So I run to the bathroom in a panic, close the stall, and I let the storm begin. Now there's only one other person in the bathroom with me in the stall to my left, the handicap stall. From the shoes, I'm thinking it's a little girl. So as I'm going about my business, I'm looking down at my phone to pass the time. All of a sudden, I then see something in the upper corner of my eye. It was a phone at the top of the stall door in front of me, not the handicap stall, and it had the camera facing me. There was an actual hand holding the phone. There was actually someone recording me taking a shit. The whole thing went by so quickly, but I was in an incredibly vulnerable position, as you can imagine, and all I could think to do was scream, "What the fuck are you doing?" The person immediately runs off, and I hear the little girl in the stall beside me kind of jump off the toilet and run away as well. By the time I could wipe my ass and run out of the bathrooms, obviously whoever was recording me was gone. So I'm completely mortified, and I ask for one of the managers and tell them what happened. They weren't even concerned that someone was straight up recording me in the bathroom with my pants down and legs wide open for God knows how long. I tell them to please look at the cameras because I feel completely violated, and I'm also concerned for my safety. Within about 10 minutes, they return and they say that a little girl ran out of the bathroom shortly before me, and that it was probably just her joking around getting pictures of random people in the restroom. I actually argued with them, letting them know that I know it wasn't the little girl because she was in the stall next to me, and that she ran out after I yelled. They were pretty adamant that's who it was, because no one else went in before me or after me. I never ended up escalating it further with the Walmart manager. Looking back, I can't believe I was gaslighted into thinking it was some dumb kid. But the next few days when I really thought about it, I really realized that's not even possible. I came to the conclusion that there's a nasty poop-peeping pervert hiding in the supply closet in the bathrooms or something, taking videos of vulnerable women taking shits. I've been convinced of all these years that I'm probably out there on some website on the dark web, you know, for the people who have these nasty fetishes. Not long before that particular incident, I was followed by a car out of Walmart and nearly made it to my house before I realized. I then drove around just to make sure it was actually following me, and they definitely were. I got rid of them because I drove to a gas station, then screamed, "This person's following me! Call the police!" Once they heard what I was doing, they drove away. I never got a look at them, unfortunately, and I didn't file a police report either. I know these two incidents aren't related, but both of them creeped me the hell out. Needless to say, I haven't been back to that Walmart since. Hey everyone, I hope you all enjoyed these stories. If you ever want to submit your own, you can do so at southerncannibal.com. Have a good night everyone, and remember to always stay